Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Steve Kenyon Podcast. I'm Steve Kenyon. Today, our featured interview presented by Classic Ropes and Classic Equine, Tyler and Sarah Rose Waguespack. We're going to talk about barrel racing. We'll talk about bulldogging. Of course, Tyler's a five-time world champion. And I want to say a big thank you to Tyler and Sarah because they introduced me to our newest sponsor, which is Cubit Hay Cubes. You'll find them online at cubithay.com. Cubit Hay Company, centered out of Idaho. Premium alfalfa cubes and pellets. Alfalfa hay cubes are available year-round with consistent quality. And here's the advantage of feeding cubes. If you're taking cubes with you, if you're going out on a long road trip, load up with a bunch of bags of cubes. You know you're going to have the same hay with you every place you go. And that is a great, great comfort for those of us that are riding and competing and need the best out of our horses. Cubithay.com is the website, cubithay.com. Please check him out. Thank you to J.C. Neville and the entire family at Cubit Hay Company. We'll talk to Tyler and Sarah in just a moment. Of course, our programs every week are being presented by Cubit Hay Company, thanks to Rodeo Life Magazine, to M2 Ranch Jerky, online at m2-ranch.com. Equinity, it's all about the horse, teamequinity.com. The Justin Boot Company, the standard of the West since 1879. The Grandview at Las Vegas, the place we stay during the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo. Wrangler, the official Western Wear Pro Rodeo. Resistol, the proud sponsors of the Resistol Rookie of the Year Award. We live it every day. The Gooding Pro Rodeo in Gooding, Idaho is getting ready to celebrate its 100th anniversary. The Gooding County Fair is getting ready to celebrate its 100th anniversary this August. We'll be there as part, once again, of the great Gooding Pro Rodeo. And, of course, thank you to Next Gen Rodeo and to the Cowboy Channel. This week on the Cowboy Channel, enjoy all the action from the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. Our featured interview brought to you by Classic Equine and Classic Ropes, Tyler and Sarah Waguespack. And we'll get to that right after this on the Steve Kenyon Podcast.
Hey, y'all, this is Cody Johnson. When I was starting out in music, most every radio station and venue I went to told me no. At that point, you got two options: tuck tail and quit, or buckle down and fight. Well, I'm a fighter, not a quitter. And that's why I wear Wrangler jeans and shirts. Their toughness and style are legendary. They're an iconic symbol of the West, and there's no quit in them either. Life's not about the destination. It's about the journey. And if I'm going to enjoy the ride, I'm riding in Wrangler. Wrangler, long live Cowboys.
Cubit Hay Company, premium alfalfa hay cubes for premium animals. Cubit Hay Cubes offer consistent quality year-round. No waste. Choose from full-size mini cubes or pellets. It doesn't matter if you're feeding horses or cattle, goats or hogs. Cubit Hay Cubes will have them looking and feeling great. The Cubit Hay family has been growing top-quality hay in southern Idaho for 40 years and now produces the best milled alfalfa hay cubes on the market. Find a dealer near you at cubithay.com. That's CUBEITHAY.com.
Step into the legendary style of the King of Country with the George Strait collection from Justin Boots. Fit for a king, these boots boast an advanced cushioning system and are crafted with the finest exotic leathers, embodying George's iconic comfort and stage-worthy presence.
Make sure to check out the George Strait collection from Justin Boots, standard of the West since 1879.
Find yours today at justinboots.com.
Thanks for joining us on the Steve Kenyon Podcast. Today's featured interview brought to you by Classic Ropes. Success is in your hand. And Classic Equine. Play to win. We are Classic Equine. Here's our conversation with Tyler and Sarah Waguespack. I've been looking forward to doing this for a little bit now. Joining me is one of the power couples in pro rodeo. I can say that and get away with it, can't I, Sarah? Can I, Tyler? Tyler Waguespack, the five-time world champion. Sarah Rose Waguespack, the barrel racer who has qualified twice or three times, Sarah? Two times for the NFR, right? Yeah, two-time qualifier to the National Finals Rodeo. Guys, welcome. It's a pleasure. Tyler, I was telling you, you've been awful supportive, and you both have been awful good to me over the last couple of years, and I really appreciate it. How are things going in the bulldogging world in 2025 for you?
I feel like I've got off to a great start. I haven't been to maybe 5 or 6 rodeos so far. Went to my circuit finals there in the fall and just a couple rodeos so far this winter, but have been having a lot of luck. Horses are working good and feel like I'm bulldogging good, so gonna just try to keep it rolling all throughout the year.
Sarah, I want to ask both of you about this because you're in the bulldogging business and you're in the barrel racing business. And there are a lot of horses that come and go. And so either one of you take this. How do you manage the horses? Is there ever a time where you look out there and go, okay, that one's a barrel horse, that one's a bulldogging horse, that one's a whatever? There got to be a lot of horses in your lives, right?
Sarah is 100% in charge of the horses, I can promise.
Okay, got it. Why am I not surprised by that, Sarah?
Yeah, no, Sarah goes above and beyond to take care of everything, so we let her be the decision maker on all that.
Yeah. Tell me about your horses right now, Sarah. You had that wonderful roan mare, Bling. You've had some babies out of her, but you've got a couple of young horses now that I think you told me one of them's at least a goodbye lane. Tell me your plans and where you're at right now and where you're headed.
Right now I have a goodbye lane horse I ran last year. So now he's a Derby horse, and I'll go to Derbies on him and start introducing him to some rodeos. And then after that, they're pretty much stacked 2 to 4 horses per year, from being born to up to 3-year-olds. So starting to get pretty busy, as they kind of stack up, so it's exciting. It's a lot of them are out of mares that I've ran and sold, or out of sires that I've had success on. So that's really exciting.
Tyler, I can tell you want to jump in on this.
My rodeoing is not near about a full-time job like Sarah has. She's watching a camera right now because she has one mare that's fixing to foal. She's got to get another mare bred late tonight as everything's scheduled to get done then. So yeah, she's working a full-time job around here trying to get all this stuff rolling. So it's awesome.
How many horses you guys got on the place, if you don't mind my asking?
The fact that we got to sit down and think about it.
I don't know, 16.
Yeah.
17.
Yeah, we got 16 or 17 right here and now.
That's not as big a number as I thought it was going to be honest.
It's growing. It's growing at all times.
Yeah, there you go. So part of the thing that Tyler, full disclosure, Tyler introduced me to a gentleman named J.C. Neville last December at the National Finals Rodeo, and I'm proud to welcome Cubit Hay Cubes as one of my sponsors and a business partner, and they've been a part of your life, guys, for a long time, haven't they?
Yeah, they have super tremendous. I mean, it's so awesome with especially all the horses that we have taken care of. And I mean, we never have to worry about the quality of healthiness in our horses. They're always put up good. They're fed very well. Like I say, up from our weanlings all the way up to the horses that are going up and down the road. I mean, the Cubit, they're 100% taking care of us. And it's amazing to see how well they do for us.
I like the fact that there's no waste. That's always been the thing that I appreciated about the cubes.
Our barn is clean. It's awesome. Whenever we used to have hay, there was stuff everywhere. But like I say, now with these Cubit cubes, it's amazing how like I say, tidy everything is around. There's no waste. There's
just keeping it like consistent all the time. Like no matter how the weather is, what we're feeding is the same. And when we travel, we can keep it the same.
Well, and that's the thing is if you're traveling, especially when you guys leave in, like Tyler, hypothetically, you leave in June. And you go from Sisters to Reno to the 4th of July to Calgary to all the way through the Pendleton Roundup, and then you head back home. You can't pack enough hay to cover that entire trip, so you're going to be buying hay from someplace, and this way you know you're getting the same hay.
The same hay. And like the guys with Cubit have been super helpful. I mean, JC, I think he answers the first ring every time we give him a shout, and always willing to lend a hand as far as where's the closest place we can get it at on the road and stuff like that. And like I say, just like you said, it's awesome that whether you're in California or if you're in North Carolina, you can always get the consistency there of having the same product at all times. I've been back in the day. I say back in the day, I'm not that old, but a couple of years back, rodeo, whenever we're feeding alfalfa, we'll get good alfalfa, we'll get bad alfalfa.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's you get to one night, you're on the last bale, and there's only one place to get hay at, and it's no good. I mean, you kind of sketchy to feed that to your horses. At least this way, you know you're getting the same stuff at all times.
Yeah. Tell me, I'm curious about, especially with the Cowboy Channel now. Jeff Betters did a podcast with me a couple of years ago, and he was talking then about the patches that folks see you wearing the sponsorships that we all are trying to solicit. Probably are worth more now than they've ever been because of television and because of, all of the exposure that we now get. And I think that value has changed even Sarah, you qualified for the NFR 10 years ago, right? 2015, 2016, I think, if I remember right. Those values have increased exponentially even over the last decade, haven't they?
Oh, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For both of you, that sponsorship support's a big deal.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like I said, we couldn't do it without all the people that are standing behind us. And we're very proud of the people that we do have behind us. There's a lot of people that reach out to us as far as trying to, get on our shirts or for us to represent them and stuff like that. But I like to hold it to I'm not really trying to be a jerk to people that contact me, but I like to hold it to a minimum as far as what goes on my shirts, because I don't want to put somebody next to, say, Cubit that's just going over the top and just extremely helping us out next to somebody that's just wanting to hand us just a little bitty handout and then be in the same position. I like to take care of everybody that takes care of me. And I mean, that, like I say, that's why I got their pictures so big on my shirt, because, like I say, I really appreciate everything they do for us.
Yeah, well, and let's face, I mean, you're a good sized guy, but you only got so much room on that shirt too. So I mean, there's at some point you're going to run out. Tell me about your plans for 2025, Tyler. Last year was the strangest year of your rodeo career, or one of them. You tore that bicep up at the Rodeo and Sisters. You missed all of the 4th of July. You missed Cheyenne. You still come back at the National Finals Rodeo. And to be honest, I'll tell you this now, I still put you on my fantasy team because I think Tyler Waguespack in that arena in Las Vegas is dangerous every year. Talk to me about how you approach this year. You said you haven't been to very many rodeos. Have you been to fewer this year?
I've actually been to fewer this year, but I've been having a lot of success everywhere I've been going this year. And I don't know if I would say that I got lazy last year or what, but just kind of going to the same rodeos. I wasn't winning, and I was always in the back of my mind saying, it's okay, when the summer rodeos get here, I'll take back off and catch up, no problem. And whenever we left out for the summer, that first weekend, I was doing great. I mean, I'd won Eagle, Idaho the very same weekend, pulled up at Sisters, Oregon, and whenever I tore the bicep, now I got to sit on the couch for 2 months and wait. So I was way, way behind the 8 ball. So I'm happy that this year we're having a good winter. Like I say, not going as many rodeos. We're taking care of our horses as the winter months goes. But then during the summer, I mean, I'm going to be sure to put fuel in the fire to not be in the same position that I was last year. Like I say, I've always taken it for granted that, I'll just have the summer and catch up, no big deal, just like always. Well, I took the summer out of play this year whenever I had that injury, so it kind of had me way back behind the 8 ball. Yeah. That's what Sarah said. She said, I got back to the old school rodeo, and I was hustling, flying around, trying to make sure I made as many rodeos as I could to get qualified back for the national finals.
For the record, Tyler Waguespack is 8th right now in the PRCA's world standings in the steer wrestling, and that's only after a handful of rodeos, with Houston coming up next. Tyler, which horses are you riding right now? And are they horses you own, or are they horses you're partnering with other people on? Which ones are you riding the most?
I'm super excited about the horses that we have in the rig this year. This year, in the group of guys that we have, will be me, Kyle Irwin, Stetson Jorgensen, and Cash Robb. And what we like to think about is, our horses are pretty much insurance for each other. There's Mabel is in the rig, which is a great horse owned by Stetson Jorgensen. The horse that I'm riding mainly right now is Baby, that's owned by Sam Dixon. Kyle Irwin and I will be riding her a lot. We've got my horse Cheese in the trailer as well. And I mean, just like the other day at San Antonio, Baby had just a little bit of soreness in one of her feet, and we were unfortunately not able to ride her in the short round. And my traveling partner Stetson Jorgensen is like, "Hey man, don't worry about it. Hop on Mabel." Again, a short enough first class horse that we get on in a short round. Most guys are scratching their head trying to figure out what to do or what the backup is or this, that, and the other. Whereas at that day, our backup, or not even the backup, the horse that was going to take the spot was another first class horse. So we were ready to rock and roll. And our hazing horses this year are tremendous. I mean, I've got Kyle Irwin's going to be doing most of my hazing on Bruno. That was the horse that hazed for me at the national finals this past year, and that was actually that horse's first NFR. And like I said, that horse is doing fantastic. We've got Cash Robb has a great hazing horse in there. So does Stetson. I mean, I think this year on horsepower, we've got everybody kind of backed against the wall. We've got an outstanding set of horses going up and down the road this year. Between
barrel racing and steer wrestling, all the horses that you've got at your place, all the horses that you've ridden, all the success you've had barrel racing, all the success Tyler's had in the steer wrestling, there has got to be a lot that you two can do to help each other out, to put a set of eyes on a horse, and if you see somebody's even just a little tiny bit off, I can't imagine the knowledge in the equestrian world that is living in the Waguespack house right now between the two of you. You got.
Yeah, as far as the knowledge that we both have, I mean, it's probably 90% over here and maybe 10% on my end.
Yeah.
Like I say, and I'm not saying that to take away from me. She's always the one that we go to if anything is feeling a little off, if anything needs a little bit of maintenance or something like that. I mean, she knows everything that needs to be done as far as getting the horse feeling their best and to doing their best. And that's what goes back to the stuff that we put in them whenever, like I say, we're feeding Nutrina feeds and feeding Cubit hay cubes. It all goes back to making sure that our horses are feeling the best that they can.
Yeah. Sarah, tell me where what your priorities are in your direction. You were talking about young horses and derbies. And is there ever a time when we might see both of you together at the NFR? Or is there obviously, that would be an absolute blessing for you if you could do it. But kind of where are your priorities? What are you trying to get done these days?
My plan is always like whichever horse I'm raising or training, just to make it the best horse that it can be. And I love seasoning horses. I love like exhibitioning them and building them a resume and making them good finished horses that other people can buy and compete on, and I can watch them have success on. And then also, I do love competing too. And so just, it takes a very, very special horse to do that on. But I also, like I said, enjoy watching other people win on horses that I've had too. So it's just all a process, and I love enjoying it all and just trying to make each horse that I step on the best that it can be.
Yeah, I find Sarah takes a lot of pride in horses that are born on the place or born here with us, that she's brought up from ground zero to where they go to, just seeing the progress and the success that they make. I mean, I know she gets home from just exhibition and then is super excited about how we have to watch each one of the videos and how the progress happened with each one. And I mean, I'm very proud of her because she just tries to take it to a whole nother level and giving all of her horses the opportunity to have success.
Yeah.
Tyler really loves messing with the babies.
They keep my stress level very high.
Well, babies are fun because they're scary because
you tear up today.
Yeah.
She always gets me on the hard days though. Like whenever whenever it's just brushing one, I mean that's her. But whenever we got to start trimming their feet and everything, Tyler, get underneath there and get that done. Like okay.
Yeah. They're babies are scary because you're. Let's face it, you're 3, 4, 5 years into them before you know, and a lot of vet bills and a lot of feed bills and a lot of horseshoers and everything else before you know if you got something that's gonna work out for you or not.
Yeah, but that's that being said, that's why I like it the way that Sarah does it, because she takes her time with every stage that the horse has. And not to toot her horn or anything, but she's had a lot of success with starting one as a baby and making each step the right way with the horse. And I mean, she's been very lucky that every horse has wound up having a great job and being a very successful horse as she does it.
You mentioned that you've got go ahead,
a
Sarah.
Little different because, I may just start with like 1, 2, or 3 a year, but I try to really put a lot of time into each one of those. So we're not starting with a lot every year to choose from, but my goal is just to put a lot of time into that horse. And it's kind of like, it's not the option of, is it going to be good? It's like, okay, we're going to get there and try to make it a really good horse.
Yeah, and I kind of penalize her on that because I'm a bulldogger, so I go as fast as I can. I want stuff to happen right now.
Yeah. And
she's kind of the one that takes her time and is very slow and trusts the process and does it more or less the right way. I just like doing it the fast way, so that really makes her get frustrated with me with the babies.
Well, you can learn from each other in that case. What are the bloodlines that you look at right now, Sarah? There are 2 or 3. Jarvis is a goodbye lane. You're running a goodbye lane, a lot of derbies, and we all saw what Jarvis did last year at 27 rodeos. What are the Eddie Stinsons? I think are really, really hot right now. There are 2 or 3 others that are escaping my mind. But are there some specific bloodlines, or do you look at that?
How much time you got?
Yeah. Has that colt been born yet? Just go.
I don't want to break it down too much. I really have had luck with like sticking with out of mares that like I've ran or some kind of similar. I try to keep the bloodline similar. I've had good luck with like Dash of Fame, Strawfly Special on the bottom. Kind of, I have a couple of Bling Smooth guys that I'm really excited about. And I have a couple Eddies and trying to get another Goodbye Lane this year.
Well, you got one out there.
Yeah.
She's got one baby right now and got one of them she's trying to get bred to tonight. So.
And I'm excited. My colt for next year is out of BFI's a Famous that I sold to Dusty Lynn Hall, and she's had success on. So, just.
Yeah, she does pay attention. Like
it's such a process, you try your best to match them up as good as you can.
Yeah, and I'm always the one saying, oh, this one's got to be great. It's bred to this stud, this, that, and the other. And she's sitting there slapping me upside the head saying, no, look at the bottom side of the paper. That's where she starts.
Way back when I first got started on radio, the great Judd Little was one of my sponsors. And Judd always said, it's the mares, it's the mares, it's the mares. The stallions get all the headlines. The mares are the ones that. Do you agree with that?
I do. I really enjoy sticking with, like, if I've rode, say it's out of a mare I've rode, like, I find that, like, I'm able to use the same bit, or I'll, if I feel something, I'm like, oh, that's what I felt with that mare, so I'm going to try something that worked on her. Just little stuff like that. That's like, yes, I do agree with that, because things come up and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. It's like the same feel in a sense.
Tyler, tell me about bulldogging in Houston. You're going from San Antonio on a basketball court to Houston on a football field. It's a little bit different setup.
Absolutely. I mean, we went from a 3-second bulldogging, or I'd say short 4 bulldogging this year. Steers a little tougher this year at San Antonio. To now we're going to have a little bit longer strap. And
he got his lip busted.
And run. Yeah, I had a rough go at San Antonio the other night, but still wound up getting a little bit of the money out of there. So it was a good rodeo for me. But boy, it was a hassle. But no, and at Houston, we got to go to seeing a big start, run them way out down the arena. And it all comes down to horsepower, and I think the hazer is extremely important over there, because the steer can really go any direction he wants to. I mean, he's on a football field, and that's why I got a lot of confidence in my hazer. Kyle Irwin going to be on Bruno, and he almost knows where to put the steer before I nod my head. I mean, he's kind of got a game plan. We've run so many steers together. I've had a lot of great hazers in my day. Remy Parrott, Tyler Pearson, all ones that can all do that. I mean, that's so important in that build. And so really excited about the team of horses and the team of guys I get to go in there with this year.
Yeah. Let me ask you just one or two final questions, guys, and I appreciate your time. I don't know that I've ever really asked you about history and your sense of history, Tyler, but let's face it, you and Luke Branquino have 5 world titles. Homer Pettigrew's got 6. Nobody's got 7.
Yet.
You ever think about that?
Nobody yet.
That's the answer to the question then. Nobody yet.
Nobody has it yet.
Yeah. It's you're young enough. It could be well within your grasp.
It's an awesome goal to have. And I mean, I think about it a lot of getting to the 7th world title. But if not, just to be able to win one is amazing. To have multiple is even better. I mean, I would love to end my career having the record, but if my career was over with today, I feel like I've done an amazing job and have great accomplishments. I've got a lot of great friends that I've made out there and met a lot of good people. I mean, that's what kind of sticks with me the most about rodeo. That the rodeo family is way better than anyone, I believe. So I'm really proud of that.
Talk about you guys' lives in the practice pen. What are each one of you like when you're training, when you're practicing, when you're I got this funny feeling there's a combination of intensity and a lot of fun that goes into what y'all are doing.
Tyler is definitely intense when he practices. He is like all or nothing. So if he's going to practice, it's going to be all out and full steam ahead. I mean, he may throw like 30 steers in one day. And I feel like he pushes everyone around him to like really give it their all and pumps everyone up around him.
Yeah, I really like that in our practice pen. I've got a lot of good guys. Like Cash Rob is always in the practice pen with us. Another good bulldogger, Talon Roseland, is down here all the time.
And then we got a bunch of young guys that come around a lot. Tate Joyner, who's he's in college this year and stuff. And it's awesome to have a group of guys in there practicing because you all push each other to do good. And I feel like I'm kind of like the coach for them, but in return, that helps me out because I'm always really amped up on them about focusing on doing different steps right. Well, if I'm going to preach to them about doing one thing right, I dang sure better do that on all of my runs. So I feel like it always pushes me to do better. But I've been the same way since I was little. I mean, I'm the oldest one in the practice pen right now, but I mean, I will probably run the most steers. If there's a stronger steer in there, I'm going to make it a point that I'm going to be the only one to make it hit. Like Dad's always told me back whenever I was little, no matter what arena you go into, own the arena, whether it's the practice pen or if you're at the national finals. And I mean, that's something that's always stuck with me.
Yeah, one of the best college football coaches I ever knew, Tyler, always used to tell me, if you really want to learn a sport, you can play it, sure, but coach it. And that's when you really learn it.
Yes, sir.
And
Absolutely.
I feel like for me, like you've helped me, like your mentality of when you're competing, like if something goes wrong, it's like, okay, it's not a big deal. Just focus on the next run.
Mhm.
Don't get yourself down. I think you're really good about
Yeah,
that.
I've always been one that no matter how bad it gets, it doesn't mean that your chance of winning is out of the window. Like I say, like at the national finals, there's
Like you never bet against yourself, and you
Yeah.
always like are like, oh, it can all work out.
Yeah, the last 3 world titles that I won, I did not win the average. I was always taken out in an earlier round, whether it be a rope barrier, a no time, or having a steer fall the wrong way, or what have you. But there's nothing that can convince me that I can't win the world until the dust settles after the 10th round. Like I've always got that confidence that I'm good enough that I can get it accomplished.
Sarah, has he become a good barrel racing coach through the years?
I do run everything by you and like ask for his advice. There is a lot of like, I wouldn't say on the pattern,
No,
but like mental side of it. And he has helped me a lot with, competition side of it. And I mean, you do watch all my videos. So.
I do. There's a lot of videos.
Oh, there you go. There you go. How often before I let you go, how often do y'all get to go together? Are you able to much or does it
No.
just
not very, unfortunately. I mean, I'm traveling with a group of 4 guys, and the slacks at the rodeos never line up. Sarah kind of picks and chooses the rodeos that she goes to, so a good day for her at this rodeo may not be the only day that we have to work over there, so it doesn't really line up a lot. But we get to be together a pretty good bit. But as far as whenever we're out there rodeoing, it's pretty tough.
It's fun to watch. There are some really interesting couples that I keep an eye on right now. You guys, Haven and Shelby. There's some families that I just think are really interesting to keep an eye on because you've done such a great job of doing the things that you do, and whether it's bringing horses along in the barrel racing or whether it's getting back to the NFR again, overcoming some pretty significant odds last year, Tyler, with you. It's just fun to watch you guys, and I really do appreciate your time. Thank you very, very much.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thanks. Good luck with that baby horse you're expecting to be born any second, Sarah.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys down the road. Thanks to Tyler and Sarah Waguespack for their time. Thanks to you for yours. Hope you like and subscribe to our 8 Seconds Media social media sites, in particular our 8 Seconds Media Facebook page. Thank you to the people that are bringing you the Steve Kenyon podcast. Our sponsors include Cubit Hay Company, online, cubithay.com. And a big thank you this afternoon, this morning, tonight, whenever you're listening, to Rodeo Life Magazine, to M2 Ranch Jerky, to Team Equinity, to Justin, the Justin Boot Company, to the Grandview at Las Vegas, to Wrangler and Resistol, the Gooding Pro Rodeo, to Next Gen Rodeo, and the Cowboy Channel. Join us again next week on the Steve Kenyon Podcast.